What's up guys, it's Bass and Bros here today, and today I'm talking about the Texas rig and how versatile this bait is. And if you're not throwing it, you should be, because let me tell you what, this has caught me some big fish. Mark loves to throw the Texas rig, Dylan loves to throw the Texas rig. The Texas rig, like, you can use it for pretty much anything. Any soft plastic you can think of, you can Texas rig it. You can even Texas rig drop shot baits. So it's mainly just a way of how you are hooking the soft plastic. So that should kind of give you kind of an idea of what to expect from this video. And sorry for not posting this earlier today. I was pretty sick last night, and I wasn't planning on doing another video today, but I decided to do it because it feels weird not like posting continuously for you guys. So if you could please leave a like and a comment on what your favorite Texas rig soft plastic is, and also leave a subscribe and follow us on Instagram. But today we're going to basically dive into the Texas rig, and we're going to talk about the different ways you can fish it, where you can fish it, different soft plastics you can use, the rod type, lines, pretty much everything you need to know. So let's get to it. Alright, so the Texas rig is one of the most versatile baits you can throw, honestly. It's completely weedless. So basically you can throw pretty much any type of soft plastic. You're probably going to want to match the hatch of your local fishery, and it will catch you some big ones, I promise you. Now, some people do it weightless, some people do like a weighted Texas rig. Personally, I do a weighted one, but Mark also loves to throw a weightless fluke that's Texas rigged, and he can get some crazy fish. So honestly, it's a personal preference. Try both, see what you like. But yeah, you can basically Texas rig any type of soft plastic. One of my favorites to Texas rig is like creature style baits. I also like to Texas rig like worms, especially ribbon-tailed worms. And I like to Texas rig the cross, especially whenever I'm fishing for smallmouth in the rivers around here. It is an absolutely deadly combination. So yeah, let's get into where you can fish it. So some of the soft plastics that you can use is craws, creature baits. Some people use like swim baits, like the soft plastic ones, like Kitex. Those are pretty good to use. Flukes are pretty good too. Yeah, pretty much anything you can think of, you can Texas rig it. And whenever you drop shot, you can either nose hook, or you can Texas rig the bait, depending on where you're fishing and how much structure's around it. And yeah, it'll get you some good fish. So personally, me, I like to use a 7-foot to 7.3 medium heavy rod with 20-pound fluorocarbon, 17-pound fluorocarbon. It really depends on where I'm fishing and how clear the water is. So that really kind of determines what type of baits I use. And it's pretty good to use pretty much anywhere. One of my favorite places to throw it is like between the branches of like submerged trees, bushes, weed beds. Anywhere where you think your bait will get stuck normally, throw the Texas rig and you will get probably one of the best bites of the day from it. Because with how you rig it, you skin hook it. So whenever you skin hook the Texas rig, it makes it 100% weedless. And whenever you are fishing in like areas where there's a lot of snags and there's a lot of things that you can get hung up on, definitely the Texas rig is one of my first baits I pull out of my box that I use, either that or a jig, because I love to throw jigs too. And it can match pretty much any hatch and any fishery, so it's pretty versatile. I used it up in Vermont quite a bit. It's on the clear water lakes, and I use it a lot down here with like especially whenever it's muddy or clear. It pretty much works in any water type that you can imagine. Now you might like size down the soft plastic depending on how exactly the fish are, and if the weather's been good or if the weather's been bad, you're going to want to go to like a smaller one. Like it really just kind of depends. Normally if you're wanting to go for a bigger fish, you're probably going to want to go with a bigger bait, which is okay. And you can use pretty much anything. You can take this rig like 10-inch worms, 12-inch worms, pretty much anything you can imagine. So some of the different types of weights I like to use. I'm pretty partial to the bullet weights. That's like my go-to weight to use whenever I'm using a weighted Texas rig. I like to use like a 3/8 to like a quarter, maybe a half, depending on how deep the water is. That is a pretty big deciding factor on what exactly weight I want to use and how fast I want it to reach the bottom. And sometimes it's good to have a slow fall if they're suspended, and you can use it pretty much anywhere. Some of the places it really does shine is, like I said earlier, is around trees, bushes, anything like your bait will get hung on where bass are going to be like at, and where they're looking for cover. If it's like a bluebird sky day, like you're gonna want to fish like up in the trees or in the bushes, and that's where a lot of the fish are gonna be. So that's why we like to use the Texas rig. Personally, like Mark loves to use like the zoom lizards or the man bear pig. He loves the man bear pig. I love to use like the creature baits, like I said earlier. Dylan likes to use more of like the worm type / cross. I know you haven't really seen too much of it on the channel, and that's because we really haven't had like the best of weather. And personally, I like to use the Ned rig before I use the Texas rig in like really cold water, because it's kind of a more finesse bait. But you can also use like the fluke. The fluke is deadly in the spring and the fall. And whenever you use the fluke, like you kind of want to twitch it on top of the water. I will have Mark do a video on how he fishes the fluke, and we'll probably just do a whole video on that, because Mark is like, he can beat me with the fluke. Like I've seen it, you guys have seen it, like at the secluded lake. It's one of the best baits to use, especially whenever bass are aggressive. It's pretty great. Or if you just want to kind of just slow crawl it across the bottom, you can use like a creature bait, a crawl bait, a worm, pretty much anything you can think of, and it works pretty good. So some of the different types of hooks I like to use for the Texas rig. I like to use like the worm hooks. The worm hooks are pretty good. It really kind of depends on the bait I'm using. These are the Gamakatsu hooks, and these are the 4/0 worm hooks. Generally I use the 4/0s the most because I throw like 4 to 5 inch baits. Sometimes I'll use 3/0s depending on how big the saw plastic is. I also use the offset shank worm hook, and this is also a 4/0. If I can get it to focus in there. Yeah, there we go. So if you guys can see, there's kind of like a bend in these hooks right here. And it keeps the worm on the hook. And whenever I'm using more of like a creature style bait, I like to use the EWGs, and they're pretty big. They work for craws too. Craws and creature baits, I love to use these. And there is pretty much endless possibilities on the types of saw plastics you can use on a Texas rig. And like I was saying earlier, some of these weights that I use, these right here are the worm weights. These are actually like a bullet weight, and these are 3/8 ounce. You can buy like a pack of these at Bass Pro, and these are made out of lead too. You can buy them pretty cheap. I stock up pretty much every year. Now if you want to have like a more sensitive bite, you're probably going to want to use tungsten. And if you want to go above and beyond that, I know I said I like to use fluorocarbon earlier, but you can use braid to fluorocarbon with like a blend knot or uni knot, whatever you want to use, and you'll get a lot more sensitivity out of it. Mark personally, he loves to use the high vis stuff. It's like a braided line, and it is absolutely deadly. Like, as you can just see whenever like the fish just slowly takes it, because you can see it in the water because it has like this color that stands out. You can get them in a lot of colors, I'm pretty sure, but the most popular color I've seen has been yellow. And yeah, it does pretty amazing. So if you guys are having a hard time feeling the bite, definitely go to a braid to fluorocarbon and do tungsten, and I promise you will feel a lot more of the bites. Now I'm going to show you how to rig up the Texas rig with a creature style bait, because personally it'll be a little bit easier for you guys to see like how exactly you want to feed the hook in. So yeah, let's get to it. Alright guys, so this is the 4-aught offset worm hook, the EWG. You can kind of see how it has the bend in the hook right here. And this is kind of what you're wanting whenever you're fishing like creature baits or worms. You don't want to use the EWG for worms though. You want to use like more of like an offset worm hook, not an EWG. But how you want to do this is you want to get the bait right here, and you want to go down into the head of the bait. You want to go down about 1/4 of an inch and then feed it through like this. And kind of just want to run it back through. Kind of run it up that hook. And then you want to rotate this and kind of slide that head up on that hook right there. I know this isn't perfect, but this is how you do it. And you can always adjust it too. You want to put this in at like a 45-degree angle to skin hook this. And see, that's basically how that works. And you're wanting to cover up this eye of this hook too whenever you're fishing the Texas rig. And it kind of makes it more flat. And that's basically how you do a Texas rig. And you can skin hook that. Personally, I think that's pretty good. So whenever a fish bites down on it, you can see how the hook becomes exposed right there. And it will hook you a good fish. So having the line right here covered up by the soft plastic makes it a lot easier to fish this. And you shouldn't have to worry about like fraying your line as much. So yeah, that's basically how you do that. I know it's not like the best, but yeah, so also how you skin hook it, you just kind of pull it back into it like that until the hook becomes flush with the bait. And that's basically how you rig up a Texas rig. The same concept with like worms or soft plastic. So yeah, get to go using the Texas rig. I promise you will love it if you haven't already. Also, some popular colors I like to use for the Texas rig is like a June bug color and like dirty or stained water. I love the June bug, and the black and blue. Can never go wrong with those two colors. More clear water, I like a baby bass color. It's kind of like a lighter green pumpkin. And also I love to use green pumpkin or pretty much any bait that kind of mimics the local fishery I'm fishing in. And it definitely does make a difference. Like if you're not getting bit, definitely change up the soft plastic, because I promise you it might make the world of difference. So yeah, you gotta kind of experiment with this bait, and you gotta kind of like get used to the bite, because the bite can be pretty subtle. It really depends on how aggressive the fish are. I really appreciate you guys for watching today's video, and also sorry if my voice is a little off, and I'm a little bit off because I was feeling pretty under the weather, like I said in the intro. I was up all night throwing up, so I'm glad I was actually able to get you guys a video out today. And be on the lookout for Mark's Florida video, or Florida videos. We also have some plans in the work. I officially got the boat registered, so now we're able to take that out. And if you guys haven't already, please follow us on Instagram. We post like a good majority of like the fish we catch, and we post whenever the videos are coming out. So if you haven't already, please go follow us on there. And also please like, comment, and subscribe, because we love the feedback. And if you like to do something different, leave it down below. And yeah, let's see if we can help people learn how to use the Texas rig. And like I said earlier, this is one of the most versatile baits you can use, especially whenever bass are like in cover. This is like one of my favorite lures to use. So but anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. See ya.